Yeah.
What does this mean? What does this mean?
Yeah, so an incel is just like someone who is involuntarily celibate. And it just essentially it has morphed into its own slang term that kind of describes that loser sitting on Reddit for 23 hours a day with Cheeto dust and empty Mountain Dew cans all around them. And it just has a real stank smell that is involved with these people. I'm just gonna paint you an image, and like the fedora's a little crusty, and the beard, the neck beard is strong, but the facial hair is weak, and there's a bald spot in the back, and you could just see the fedora covering it, just taking off for dear life, and he's sitting there muttering under his breath about how. Like Jessica Alba's ugly.
Jessica.
Right.
You know,
literally,
like, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, like bottom of the barrel. That was a really good description.
Thank you. I just wanted to paint a little word picture for the people at home.
No, that's perfect.
So no, because trust me, I have met a mini incel, and they all.
But most
they even if they aren't, they can pretend they're a lawyer. They can pretend they're a therapist. They can pretend.
It's most people that like hate you online if you're hiding behind a screen and and you have 0 followers and it's a hidden profile. I just refer to anyone like that incel.
Exactly. Like they can cosplay that in their daytime, but that's who they are at heart.
If that's what you're taking your time to do,
it's pathetic.
Yeah. Okay.
I could never.
Great.
Pause
I
there.
love that.
I did just want to say this one thing, if you don't mind. It's right at the end there. You said, "I would never." What were you referring to?
I would never behave toward people the way that incels behave toward me.
Because it sounded like you were saying I would never sleep with somebody like that. That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh no, I wasn't referencing like sleeping with. So I mean, I would not want to date an incel, correct? Because the people that have been the
Am I way
harshest,
off here?
the
Did that
most-
sound like she was like, I would never like?
No, you're right. It did have that tone.
I would never like
Beat
behave
them
that way. That's what I intended.
The whole encompassing of
Here.
Yeah.
But related to what I already said, this whole euphemism treadmill thing. I mean, even that, I don't know her name, the host of the podcast. She said it's
Devora.
She said it's incel is just a term for anybody that talks shit online and has no followers.
Well, she said
But what was
those
the
are.
thing with the?
she was
What's
making a
wrong with
joke.
fedoras? Hello.
Well,
They're really
It's the meme,
stylish.
like
you
growing
tend
up
to
on the internet.
wear it better than anyone, clearly.
My lady.
I mean, Michael
What's up
Jackson.
with the bald spot, though? What's wrong with bald spots?
I mean, look, I get roasted all day, every day for existing as a fat woman on the internet.
Body
so
positivity.
I'm more down with body neutrality, but that's just me.
Okay. We shouldn't shame men for balding. It's natural.
Yeah, and
It
does the neck
happens.
beard at least connect?
I think she's clapping back to what they've already said to her. This is not like every
Look at my
man. She's
TikTok
talking about someone who
comments.
might
Look at
have
my
come for
YouTube
her.
comments. Just, I'm allowed to make a joke at their expense once or twice if they dedicate hours of their time to try to tear me down because they can't handle seeing someone like me be confident in myself, because it makes them question why they can't be confident within themselves when they fit in the Americanized standards of certain whatever. And I am an outlier. I'm someone that they wish to be not seen nor heard, and I put myself out there and I hold myself to a standard of what I think is a good human being and how I proceed with that.
Just give you a little pushback here. Yes, I can agree with a portion of what she says.
Mm-hmm.
The first portion of what you said is, if these guys are going to continuously make fun of me, right, and this is the group it's coming from, I'm going to hit back. Okay, that's fair. Okay, but then you kind of moved on into this whole, but you see what it is that I don't deserve to have any criticism, and this is all projection because this is how they really feel, not how I am. And it's like, that's when I go, I'm not so sure.
Criticism is not calling me Michelin Man. It's not calling me Gorlock. It's not making fun of my body.
What's not constructive about that?
Do you think that encourages? It encourages healthy behavior when it feeds into the eating disorder mindset?
The constructive criticism.
How dare you,
the constructive
Andrew.
criticism's not for you. The constructive criticism, it's a shaming tactic so that everybody who sees a person like you out there trying to say it's okay.
and I don't consent to the shaming tactic.
Hang on. I'm trying to tell you.
It is not constructive.
It is constructive. It's constructive to all of society to say. I'm trying to explain anytime you're ready to let me. So anyway, how this is really important to society as a shaming tactic, the same way that you might take a politician, if you were the system, for instance, and completely throw him in jail and do all kinds of horrible things to him, make an example to everybody else. That's what shame does. Hang on. A shaming tactic that's used in this way is to say, listen, if anybody else is going to come out and be like you are, right, and say that unapologetically, this is okay, this is good, blah, 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 they're trying to instill a sense of shame so that if other women see that, they don't go that road and instead try to do something about it.
So you think that my existence is a right to be a political statement toward other people's views of their own body, and that I'm to be used?
You're a public figure. That's right. You're a public figure who goes out and say, I'm unapologetic, right? I've slept with all these guys, and
that's not my platform. That's part of my past.
But part of your platform is the whole big, beautiful, bullshit.
Not anymore.
Right?
Do you know my platform? Do you know my platform at all? Do you know my story at all?
But here's the thing. That's what it is, right?
No, it's not.
What is it? What is your
my
platform?
My platform is that I have lived through a lot of experiences that have led me to be in this body and to be who I am, and that I am on a journey of loving myself into my house.
Yeah, you're loving yourself. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse.
Wait, I have a question.
Because there's no excuse for it, that's why you're getting shamed.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse for what, me existing?
No, for you to look like that.
What?
Okay, question. Everything you said could be a byproduct, but do you think when a guy is saying Gorlock the Destroyer and when Brian titles the video like that,
tactic,
you think he's really doing it to
it's a shame tactic.
mitigate obesity?
It's a shame tactic.
No, it's never.
Do you really think that's why?
Whoa, why you got?
Do you think that could be the byproduct?
Why you got to throw me under the bus?
Because you're the one who titled it that.
Well, first off, it was only recently changed.
And did you do that because you were like, I want to mitigate obesity in America? Was that your?
No,
It was for the clicks and the sensationalizing.
Everybody's searching for everybody DMs me, Brian, which one's the Gorlock episode? And I'm like, I get 20 DMs a day. Brian, I can't, because it was titled Rage Quit Kiko versus Chase round 2. Okay. There was not, Al Weezy was not in the thumbnail. So I just titled it Gorlock the Destroyer. Makes it easier for people to find the video.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I made it. I tried to make it. People are wondering, Brian,
I get the point.
Where's the Al Weezy video? I put in the title so people can find it. I'm a nice guy. I'm considerate. I'm trying to save people time.
Okay, so it could be a byproduct. My question is, do you actually think that people, Andrew, leaving those comments are doing it with those intentions, or do you think it's could you concede that there's a little bit of Schadenfreude in there?
Yeah, I think that the overwhelming majority, I wouldn't say all, I'm not putting everything in a monolith.
People who comment hippo.
Trying to finish.
Okay,
so do I think, even that comment I think is legitimate, because what's the point? The point is to make the comparison to this big, ginormous animal, which you're not, right? It's a shaming tactic. The whole goal of it is to tell the person, stop the behavior. If other people see what you're doing, this is bad. We used to have shame in society. It was good. It's good to employ shame.
It is definitely not
good.
You think they did a study. I'm so sorry, but
they did a study. What was the methodology in the study?
It's on. I think it was on Netflix.
What's the methodology?
Can I just finish my statement?
No, I just want you to tell me the methodology.
I'm going to tell you my statement first. They did a statement.
So you never even read the study. You don't know anything about the study.
That humans actually respond better to positive affirmations and positive encouragement rather than negative.
What was the methodology for what was positive in the study?
They were doing they did a study of it was 100 humans or whatever.
What was the methodology for what they considered positive in the study?
They had people up on stage and they had them do a task, and to some of them they told them they did a really good job, and to the next group they told them they did a really bad job. Okay. And the next time they had that same group study come in and they encouraged them to do one thing, and they've done so many of this where they encourage one and don't encourage the other, and the ones that they haven't encouraged after they bring them back to do the exact same thing, the ones that have been encouraged those past 2 times excel, and the ones that have not do not. They've done plenty of studies on that.
So you're saying
humans thrive better from positive
all right, let's move
encouragement.
On.
They do.
I'm going to read some chats. I'm going to read some chats. All right, Andrew and Farha have the highest IQs out of everyone on the show, and their philosophy debates are pretty interesting. Would be cool to see Farha back on the Crucible for another long-form debate. Wait, hold on. I'm going to save it for later. But what was the big thing that you guys? It was about rights.
Women's suffrage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was that
women's
the big
rights?
thing?
Yeah, women's rights.
Is that a TOS thing? You think?
Why are you asking
that's
me?
Fine.
I don't know.
do YouTube.
There's nothing in violation of TOS for that.
Okay, maybe
can I make one more point about the conversation we just had? I'll
Make
keep it
quick.
really short.
But I'm gonna move on right after you say it. So go ahead.
Okay, so do you think that, like you're saying, because they're calling them fat or hippo, the goal is that they can actually change that behavior so it's beneficial? But what about the guys who leave certain comments just calling a girl ugly and it's not related to things she can change? Like, I feel like they stem from the same place, which is why I was saying I feel like the intention tends to just be sadism.
Yeah, I think there's some of that, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right, we have Bender the Offender. Ladies, do you think mandatory paternity testing would hurt or help women in today's society? Do you want to stay for this question and then?
Can I pee? I had like 3 Red Bulls.
Okay.
Does not give you wings.
Ladies, do you think mandatory paternity testing would hurt or help women in today's society?
I don't know. I feel like that's such a broad question because I feel like in some ways it could be harmful, but in other ways I think overall it would be helpful in terms of, child support and knowing it. But it's like, that's odd because it's like, what's the circumstance? Is it just like for every birth there's a paternity test?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what ways would that be harmful?
Yeah, I was going to ask
Just
the
like,
same
because
thing.
like if like the person is an abuser, someone who's like, doesn't necessarily, they don't want to be tied to the person.
Well, I mean, if
That's-
it's that
Yeah,
person's...
but do you have a right to hide paternity based on the fact that the other person's abusive?
I mean, I would want to do anything to get out of it.
You think so?
Situation.
I do, just because if you're abusive to me, what are you going to do with the child?
Yeah.
That doesn't, okay, listen, you don't have a right to hide the paternity from a father based upon whatever your analysis is of abuse. I've heard things as ridiculous as this. Emotionally abusive,
yeah, what the
which
fuck
means
is that?
nothing. It
Yeah.
means nothing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, it's not.
No, it's not
It's
crazy.
not. Because
Emotional abuse is nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing. It's
it
a
means
subjective
nothing. It's
analysis.
subjective. It's
Yeah.
subjective.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's an interesting.
Well,
perspective.
listen, it is subjective. Give me an objective standard
I mean,
for
I
what's
don't think
emotional
that's
abuse.
subjective in the terms of psychology at all.
Yeah, it is. It's most subjective in psychology.
Exactly.
It's a subjective analysis. So like, let me give you an example. I can give you a really easy one, okay? Let's say that you're going out and you're overspending from my perspective. Like, let's say I'm married to a woman, and I say, listen, you're overspending, okay? And you say, well, listen, I really need to spend this because I need X, Y, and Z for the household. You think the paper towel holder and this and that is very important. Maybe it is. Maybe it is important. And I think it isn't. So I go and I cut off your access to that threshold of money and give you a lesser threshold of money that I think is appropriate and you don't think is appropriate. Is that abuse?
In that specific scenario, there's just like several factors to whether or not something is or isn't financial abuse.
Because it's subjective. That's why.
And it's predicated on how the woman feels about what you
Wait,
say.
hold on.
Because
Hold on. Go ahead.
And it's predicated on how the woman feels about what you say. Like, a lot of women just don't take kindly to being criticized at all. They don't take kindly to a guy. Even if a guy gets moderately upset and he raises his tone a little bit, you have women who will consider that emotional abuse. That's not
I
emotional.
don't, but I mean, to me, emotional
Yeah.
abuse is like verbally saying really degrading, horrible things, and like a systemic thing over a systemic thing over time. Excuse me. And so, I mean,
Like
yeah,
systemic.
maybe I didn't initially understand the point you were trying to make with the suggestive, because subjective. Sorry, I'm
yeah.
stuttering really bad
It's okay.
right now.
It's okay.
But in terms of emotional abuse being a factor, I think is important, though it is suggestive.
So subjective.
Thank you, subjective.
Yeah.
Even though it is subjective, it is something that, I mean,
Well,
has
that-
long-standing effects on both
Yeah, right,
parent and
but-
child. But when my initial point, I was thinking more so abuse of the other aspects, because emotional is it is impactful, but it's not as dangerous to like the health of the child versus the other ones.
So let's move into, okay, if fair enough, you say, okay, when it comes to this, it's subjective, so maybe we wouldn't hide paternity on that. But if we move over to physical abuse, let's say, right? You think that that's cut and dry. Well, what if this guy, he's convicted of physically abusing the mom? Then shouldn't we be able to hide paternity? If she says, yeah. I still say no, and here's why. Because plenty of people get accused of doing domestic violence or doing things like this, and they haven't actually done it. And so we're going to yield to the word of the woman in this case and hide the paternity of that man's child for something which could easily be a falsehood. That's immoral to the utmost in my worldview.
Okay, and I see that, but for me, it's like if you're talking about a mandated paternity test, then at that point, that's the government getting involved in between the relationship and the personal affairs of people. And I am the kind of person that prefers to step off of unnecessary like government control.
Wait, I have a
You're a
question.
communist. You want the government involved in the life, literally every single aspect.
Who the hell said I was a communist?
You did.
When?
Didn't you earlier? Didn't
No,
you say you were a
I was
communist?
talking about capitalism, and you said the word communism when that word never left my mouth.
So socialism?
I mean, first, I'm not really here to debate top politics.
Okay, I'm just
I didn't-
asking this.
I came here to talk about
Are
dating.
you a socialist?
I mean, I consider myself a leftist.
Okay, yeah, you don't care if government's involved in your life for all kinds of stuff. What, did you care if the government was involved in my life when there was certain mandates going on around? You didn't give a shit. But now suddenly you care about. Now
I didn't
suddenly
give a
you
shit about
care
what
about
mandates.
this.
Can you?
Hold on.
I can't get into that.
Let's not get
Oh.
into it.
But you know what I'm
Look.
saying.
Yeah, okay, I do now. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Wait, I have a question. You said when it comes to you wouldn't want the government involved with mandatory paternity testing.
over people's
but,
autonomy.
But let me ask you a question. Let's say, do you want kids one day?
no.
Oh, okay.
So this is honestly for
Okay.
me. This is just like a thing that I don't really want to do.
Hold
I
on.
mean, that was kind of an asshole move, but
Let's keep
That
it
was
nice.
a
Let's
real
keep it nice.
asshole move.
Yeah, let's keep it nice, guys. Let's keep it nice, okay?
because some people are smart enough to know what's best for them, and for me in my life,
Okay.
I don't want to have children.
Just let me ask the question, okay?
but I would, if I wanted to,
Okay.
be a good mother.
Okay, so my question is though, do you think you said you wouldn't want the government involved when it comes to paternity testing, whatever? So are you not in favor of child support? Women receiving
My-
child support, for example.
So I believe that whoever has the child should have support from the other partner, regardless of their gender. I think that if
Okay.
a single father has the full custody of the child, which
Enforced by
which is enforced by the courts.
The state.
The government.
But
Say,
you,
yeah.
you said you don't want the government involved with mandatory paternity testing, so I'm just confused. But
Well,
you're,
I mean, look, the government has its role. All right, the government has its role, and I don't. I mean, at the end of the day,
but you do realize that, like, for example, in a child support dispute,
Mm-hmm.
that the government would actually require if the
yes,
man
and then
disputes
that's a case
paternity.
by case basis. But when you're putting in a mandated paternity test, then that is adding a complicated layer of paperwork and testing.
No, it's just literally
for-
you're already in the hospital. It's actually the perfect scenario to
But like,
have
does that apply to
paternity.
Really, the
married?
conditions couldn't be
Here's
better,
my further
could they?
questions: is
Yeah.
like, does that apply to married couples or couples that are still together,
Yeah.
or are we okay?
Yeah, everybody.
Okay.
Anyways, here, let's just go around the table
Every-
so anybody can
literally
answer
everybody.
this. Do you think mandatory paternity testing would hurt or help women in today's society?
Would mandatory paternity tests hurt or help women?
In today's society.
be good?
That's one of the super chat questions.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any children, but I don't see why it would be a problem.
Okay, Madison.
I feel like with the way, not all women, but a majority of women are moving nowadays, like it could be very harmful to their children and the
Wait,
man.
What would
do
be
you mean?
harmful?
Paternity testing, like if they found out the
Like breaking up
child's
families.
dad was not the guy that she was with, like that would be breaking their family apart.
It's a,
From a mandatory place. I mean, I see your point.
I don't.
What about the truth?
No, I think the truth is great. I think,
Okay.
yeah, no,
Wait,
absolutely.
but-
Everyone should know the truth. But I think it's going to be terrible for the children if the truth
Oh,
is
so
revealed.
you're in favor-
That's
are
what
you
I'm
in
saying.
favor of
with the way a
paternity
lot of women
testing?
are moving nowadays, they're like a lot of children aren't going to be
Oh,
having
I
dads
see.
anymore.
So it would be bad for women, but you don't object to paternity testing.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm for it.
So you acknowledge. Okay, I see. Are you in favor of that, Andrew? It sounds like.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that the rates of paternity which are lied about is wildly understated, and yeah, absolutely. I think that if mandatory paternity testing was done, there would be significant problems for women, but the kind of problems that I think they should see, which is responsibility. Forever inside of human society, men did not have this.
Right.
We'd never had the luxury of being we had to always take the word of the woman as to paternity. We don't have to do that now, and we absolutely shouldn't do it now. And even if it's not mandatory, everybody should get one no matter what, always. Period.
And just
Of course. And I have I have what I would consider 100% faith and trust in my wife. Mm-hmm. But I told her, I told her these words exactly. You're going to get the fucking test, and if not, I'm out the door. Period.
Well, also,
that's not emotional abuse.
Yeah. Well, they're also
emotional abuse. Yeah, that would be considered emotional abuse. Exactly.
How is that 100% trust and faith? I mean, it's your prerogative to do that, but
okay. Well,
it's not for her; it's for me.
Yeah. Well, it's also there are also cases where like the hospital will jumble up babies.
No, it's not.
It's as much trust as I can give you.
Trust.
It's as much trust as I can give.
Yes, because you can't confirm that. There's no way for a man to confirm that.
That's not trust.
Well, where's the trust back the other way? Just being like, okay, yeah, no problem.
Wait, Andrew.
If there was ever any resistance,
that's how that works. That's how trust works.
Yeah.
What is the what's the pitch to how would you say that? Because I feel like if I were to say that to a girl, I could see her like
Dumping
my
them.
wife or when I'm having kids.
What could she
Get the fucking paternity test.
Possible argument could a woman have towards asking you to get a paternity test other than it makes her feel bad?
If she's unfaithful.
Or like you don't trust her.
Other than it makes her feel bad. What could the argument possibly be? Give me a single argument other than because it makes me feel bad. I want to hear it.
But why
there's
would
not
you
full
want to
trust in
make
the
her feel
relationship.
bad?
So that's I feel bad.
if you're worried that she'd be cheating on you, why would you even want to?
So that's I feel bad.
Not
It's
really.
I feel bad.
Saying clearly we don't have a strong foundation. Sorry.
That's I feel bad.
No, it's not. It's saying we don't have a strong foundation.
Why would that matter if it didn't make one of them feel bad?
Because she could say like, if we don't have a strong foundation of trust and faith.
Because it makes her
No,
feel
she
bad.
could feel neutral about it and still be like, oh, okay,
so
he
if
doesn't
she-
trust
so
me.
wait a second,
And
she
maybe
feels
he's
neutral?
gonna be constantly
If she
anxious
feels
this whole
neutral about
relationship.
it, if she feels neutral about it,
That's why I have to talk
if she
fast,
feels
yeah.
neutral about it,
You
who
gotta let her
cares?
finish her point.
Say your point.
If
Go ahead, Farah.
if she
Go
feels
ahead, Farah.
neutral about it, then who cares?
I'm
ahead,
saying
Farah.
if you don't have trust in a relationship, typically that will lead to a bad relationship, regardless if the parties in the relationship feel bad about it or not. That was my only point.
Yeah, but that's the only argument is feel bad.
No, it's not. I literally said it doesn't matter if they feel bad or
Because
not. She
one
can
of them-
object and say clearly we don't have a strong foundation.
538 donated $200. Love your hair, Maddie. GL with your marriage. Brian, love the Andrew Marathon. Shout out Crucible.
Yo, go
Taking
sub this
Farah as
Crucible.
my wife. KTHX.
Okay, thanks. Yo, Bone Man, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Welcome. Good to see you back in the chat, man. Go ahead, Farah, with your point.
I completed it.
Yeah, so
Oh, she completed it.
The only reason that the trust variable is there is because it would make one feel bad over the other. That's it.
I don't know
So
if
the
that's
only
true.
argument you would make for the trust is you don't trust me, and that what, Farah? You don't trust me, and that makes me.
But it doesn't have to make you feel bad.
I
to
literally
Then why
just
would it
said-
matter?
coming
Why
from,
would
though.
it
the
matter?
basis of a relationship.
It's a foundation relationship.
Because if
Yes,
it's
exactly.
not, and why is it a foundation?
Okay, what about this?
It's based on
Maybe
how
you
people
don't care
feel.
or not. You're completely apathetic to whether your wife cheats on you, but maybe you still don't want her to do that, even if you have no emotional reaction to it, because you think that creates an unstable foundation for a relationship.
Then
even if you're completely apathetic and maybe you're a cuck and you get
Then
off
why
to
would you
it.
care about the paternity test? How would that be an argument if it's just a neutral?
You were saying, what is an objection to
Right,
your
Yeah, but
your
how
boyfriend
would that
asking
be
you
an
for a
objective?
paternity test?
Yeah,
And I'm
how-
saying you could say, we're missing an important tenet of our relationship, an important pillar that isn't contingent on me feeling good or bad about it. That was my only point.
Then if you don't feel good or bad about it, why would it be an important pillar?
Same way I told you, maybe if your wife's cheating on you, but you don't necessarily care, wouldn't you agree that that could have adverse effects on the relationship, regardless
So
about
those-
how you feel
well,
about
so
it personally?
Those would be like the adverse effects that you would be talking about are like her getting pregnant,
No, not necessarily.
her giving
even
you a VD,
even if she was infertile.
her giving you VD,
What is that?
venereal disease.
I don't think those would be your only objections
Well,
to your
then
wife
what?
stepping out
Other
on you.
than
I think
how
from
that
your,
makes you feel, then I don't
I think
understand
from
the
your-
objective.
You're religious. From your Christian
Yeah.
purview, you could probably outline a plethora of reasons for why you wouldn't want your girlfriend or wife to be sleeping with other people, other than it makes you feel bad. You'd probably think it, has adverse
Yes,
outcomes.
that's
on the
true. I could
relationship.
appeal to an objective standard. Yes,
Yes, and most
but
people
this
in
is not.
relationships
What
appeal
objective
to
standard are you appealing to?
usually the tenets of trust in a relationship.
That's not an objective standard. It's a subjective standard.
Most relationships subscribe to that. Obviously, people can deviate from that. But
Yeah, but
I think
that's a subjective standard. And at the end of the day, the only reason you appeal to that subjective standard is because if I don't trust you and you don't trust me, one of us feels bad.
I just told you there's many instances where you might not feel
There's
bad,
not
but
a
you still might have
single
a
one of
standard.
those that doesn't really boil down to it made the other person feel bad.
And so in
No.
your opinion, feel bad. He just disagrees.
No, you even created a hypothetical neutral. So you said, hypothetically, what if neutrally it didn't make you feel bad for your wife to go out and do this thing? What would be her objection?
Okay, what if I found out my husband cheated on me and I genuinely have zero emotional reaction to it, but I still want to dump him? Did I dump him because it makes me feel bad, or because I feel like we don't have a strong foundation,
what would-
because there's dishonesty and there's a lack of trust?
Why would, I don't understand. Why do you want the honesty and the trust inside of the relationship if you don't care if he cheats?
To be able
It's not
to
about
rely
don't
on that.
care. I can care without it making me feel bad.
Yeah, but okay, so you care, but it doesn't make you feel bad?
That could happen, yeah.
How?
You can't control
Yeah,
your
that can
emotional
happen.
response to something. Maybe you find out someone cheats on you, or you found out your husband, texted another girl, and you're like, okay, this violates
And you
my
would
boundaries.
care about that
People have
because
boundaries that
it makes
aren't-
you feel bad.
People
Tara.
have boundaries that aren't always directly, purely correlated to their feelings about it.
Oh, really? So if guy is texting and you don't care, that means...
It's not about don't care. It maybe doesn't make me feel bad.
Oh, if it doesn't make you feel
I'm
bad,
saying I
then
can
you don't
about
care,
it.
right?
I don't agree with that.
You don't?
No.
So you care if a guy's texting another person even if it doesn't make you feel bad?
I would still care. Even if in that moment I felt apathetic about it, I would still end the relationship. Even if I personally didn't cry about it.
Even though you didn't care?
Even if I didn't cry about it or
Why
feel
would you
sad
do
or
anything?
insecure.
Why would you do anything at all if you didn't care?
Right.
That makes no sense. That's the stupidest thing I've heard out of you tonight. Why would you do anything if you didn't care?
Because reversely, I wouldn't set boundaries purely based on how I feel about it. So, for instance, if I was overly jealous about my husband having a female coworker, I wouldn't then say, quit your job because this makes me feel bad. So it goes both
Yeah,
ways.
but that's something you care about.
Okay, but
Yes,
but
it's both
I
ways.
get what you're saying, but hypothetically, what you're saying is you can have values without having emotion tied to those values.
Yes.
And
Typically, they are correlated, but not always. So the same way I can, value honesty and trust, and maybe I have a visceral reaction to you having a female coworker, and that could be irrational. So I'm not going to deduce my boundaries from my emotions, and likewise, I'm not going to always
but-
deduce
where does
my
that
emotions
happen though?
from the boundaries.
Where does
the
that actually happen, especially in the context of a relationship?
Yeah, the
My
distinction
husband
here is
having a female coworker?
Well, the distinction here is
Me
still
feeling
care.
irrationally jealous about my husband having a female coworker, it happens every day.
The distinction here is care. In the one, so
And
what
you
you're
said
doing
irrationally.
is oh, sorry. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
What?
You said irrationally. You feeling
That was
irrational.
my whole point. I can have rational boundaries and standards that don't always correlate to whether I feel good or bad. Because people feel bad all the time about things that are irrational, such as your husband having a female coworker.
Yes.
So I wouldn't then say, don't do this thing because it makes me feel bad. So that was my whole point.
Yes, you can. I'm saying you can't in this context. So the problem that you made with this particular hypothetical, when you reverse it, you introduce care. And I'm saying, fine, you can introduce care. It works in that hypothetical. The opposition hypothetical doesn't, because I'm claiming that any of the standards that you would appeal to for why you would not take that test are going to appeal to care and therefore feel bad.
I disagree, and I already laid it out.
Nope, you gave me a hypothetical where you just reintroduced the word care again. And said, in this case, if I did care, then blah, blah, blah.
I was saying people set boundaries in relationships that are completely disparate from whether they feel good or bad. So same way
Yes.
again, I may feel
I
bad
agree.
if my husband has a female coworker. I'm not going to then say you can only work with men or you can only go to an all-male gym.
Yes.
And likewise,
agree.
I
In
might
that
say,
context, it
don't
works.
text other girls and don't have sex with other girls, but whether I break up with you isn't going to be contingent on whether when I find out, I cry about it or not.
No.
Because
Why
I can
don't
still
you
feel
wait?
disrespect.
Whether you
Okay,
cry,
disrespect is maybe the variable here.
Yeah, before you even cry about it, why did you set the standard to begin with?
Because of certain values in the relationship?
Because things you care about.
That's what I was saying.
Care about,
That-
but not feel good or bad.
That's
You
what I
said
was-
whether
That
it just
is
hurts her feelings.
How could you care about it if you don't feel good or bad about
I
it?
just explained how.
No,
ad
you really
nauseam.
didn't. In this context, that doesn't work. Why would you set the standards if you didn't care about the standards because you felt good or bad about the standard?
Because I can
Yeah,
think there's certain. Shut up. I can think there's certain pillars. Sorry. I can think there's. I could think there's certain pillars that breed a stronger
Get out,
relationship,
No, I'm kidding.
regardless of whether or not I personally feel good or bad about it. And I know you agree
Then
with
why
that.
do you care about the stronger pillar?
Because I want a strong relationship.
Because you care about it?
You'll feel good.
Because you value the relationship. You wanted to have.
Because you care about it.
I didn't say care wasn't a variable. I said feeling good or bad.
And I'm saying you can't have the feel good or
Good or bad,
bad.
yeah.
If you care about something, you have to have the feel good or bad.
Yeah.
I gave you an example in which you don't. That doesn't have to be the case with the
No,
coworker.
you actually didn't. What you do in that example is you just say, yes, in that case, for care, I
Can
do
you
feel
close the
good or
door?
bad, and then I set reasonable boundaries. But
No,
then when
I said you don't. You don't deduce the boundaries from feeling good or bad.
I think you do.
Nobody does that.
Everyone does that.
Everybody does it.
Every jealous wife says you can't work with other women.
No. But the reason that they would say that or
Is
not
because
say
they
that
care.
is because they
They
care
care.
about it. And so, therefore, the fact that they care about it is why they set the boundary for good, or it makes me feel good, or it makes me feel bad because I care about it.
Yeah, the emotion is
No,
going to be
because I'm
present
saying they still
regardless.
feel bad about it, but they still let their husband work with other women because they realize
Yes,
that's not
but
going to
that
have
doesn't mean
adverse
they don't
outcomes on
feel
the
bad about
relationship.
it. The reason that they could still feel bad about it and allow it, but they still feel bad.
I know you see my point.
And I'm saying that from your perspective, in this particular case, why shouldn't a man or why shouldn't a woman take the paternity test if a man asks her to, other than, I feel bad that you asked me to do that?
And I told you why. Her feelings are regardless of the fact that maybe she wants to have a
Irregardless?
strong pillar of having trust and faith in the relationship. Same way, maybe I don't personally feel good or bad if my boyfriend says, share your location with me. But maybe I'll say like, okay, but if you don't trust me, then this probably isn't going to be like a sustained relationship for a long period of time.
And okay, the word trust there, doing a lot of heavy lifting for your point. So I feel like
heavy lifting.
I feel like you wouldn't trust.
Hang on, I
let
dispute
me
the
finish.
fact.
I just let you
no,
talk.
I just want to say I'm not even disputing the fact or like the of requesting a paternity test. You were just asking what are some other objections.
Yeah, but
I think it's your prerogative to ask.
But even in that, you're using the word trust there. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting for your argument. Am I to assume that you care about trust then?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I never
Okay,
said
so hang on,
care is
Ann,
not a
that-
variable.
Stop,
I said
stop,
feeling
stop,
good
stop,
or
stop,
bad.
Stop. Why would you care about the trust? Why would you care about the trust?
Because having a strong sense of trust in a relationship leads to a healthier relationship, regardless of whether I feel good or bad. So even though I may feel bad about the fact that my husband has a female coworker, if I have a strong sense of trust, that takes precedence over my feelings of good or bad.
Yeah, okay. Forget the absent analogy. Inside of your relationship, without qualifiers, right? Without going just like just answer this single question.
What's so funny, Brian?
Just answer this single.
No, Brian, tell me what's so funny. Is that
No,
what I sound like
Farah.
too?
Answer this single. Just answer this single question. Trust inside of this hypothetical. Okay, inside of your own hypothetical.
The paternity one or the
the paternity one, which is doing all the heavy lifting here. The word trust there implies you care. We agree, right?
That you care about trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you care about the trust because if you can't trust the other person, right, it would elicit a negative feeling
No.
in you? No. Okay.
Wow.
And there's nothing I can do.
Nothing he can do. There's nothing.
What do you
he
mean,
can
wow?
Do.
Do you have a rebuttal?
It doesn't make sense.
It literally does.
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make
Okay,
any
that's-
sense.
It doesn't make sense because psychologically that's just not how we're wired as
strong,
humans.
healthy relationship, don't you feel good?
Yes, and I'm saying you could have a strong, healthy relationship and still get feelings of jealousy that have nothing to do with whether you trust the person or not.
Yeah, but but
People get jealous if like a waiter hits on their husband, even if they know their husband will never in a million years sleep with that waiter.
It doesn't make you feel
yeah,
good.
but all that
A
is
chat.
anchored by the feelings.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You're all missing my point. Okay.
We're all missing.
No,
the point.
you.
We're sorry.
You just came in and started laughing at him as if you
We,
understood
we,
anything.
I
he was
got
saying.
it.
we're not. Yeah, it
Let's
is.
not even need
It
to-
is because
yeah,
at the
let's
end of the
not go
day,
back
anything
to
that
it.
involves two people being together is going to be
just move
predicated
on.
on emotion, regardless.
well,
Regardless.
I think
Regardless.
no matter what
Regardless.
happens, like there is a negative or positive response, and you have the
Exactly.
I think you do have the choice.
Summarize the argument
So,
for me, Brian.
I think you do have the choice whether you're going to express that or not.
Yeah.
Like you internally, you're going to have a positive or negative
Yeah, you're gonna have a
response,
physiological
but sometimes
Exactly.
maybe you won't express it.